Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Leadership Talks. Today, we have a special guest, Raghavendra Abhishek Rao, who calls himself a passionate traveler. In fact, he travels across the globe. He loves traveling. Abhishek is a business management graduate specialized in HR, very passionate about people. He helped identifying the next level CXOs in manufacturing and industries. And now he is helping the digital ecosystem by ramping up startups from co-founders to 200 people, which are unicorns. He says that he has successfully failed as an entrepreneur, which I don't believe in. He actually succeeded and learned a lot from that. For the last 5 years, Abhishek is helping Adobe with talent management in customer-facing organization and leading corp functions in talent for Adobe India. Outside work, Abhishek is a very enthusiastic cricket player who also represents Adobe. Lot of things to unpack from Abhishek. Welcome on the podcast, Abhishek.
Thank you, Nagesh. Thank you for the great intro. I think I just suddenly feel a sense of pride in myself when speaking to you. And thank you for having me here. Looking forward to our conversation today.
Fantastic. So let me start with asking this question, Abhishek. So for the folks who must be wondering how I know Abhishek, Abhishek and I were both colleagues in emerging leader program from Indian School of Business. And that's when there were a few leaders who I really got connected with. So I would like to ask you, Abhishek, that you come with tons of experience in leadership. You have been very closely working with CXOs of the company. You are representing the talent management function in your company. What was your motivation to actually enroll for a program like emerging leader program from ISB?
It's a very interesting journey, Nagesh, that how I ended up being at ISB. I think it's because of my exposure to various industries, working with various founders, working with various C-suite people. I came to realize that understanding business is very important, and while doing so, I kind of have this knack of learning myself, educating myself on general business problems, business statements, business operating models. And in order to do so, I wanted to do a program which is more focused around general management, which gives me like an holistic learning environment. And I think I was bang on. Emerging Leaders Program from ISB has been one such course wherein not only they kind of, value guided us to various aspects of a business, but also to kind of, help us connect with each other from different industries and build our knowledge onto that. So and this all this motivation comes from a simple factor that being in HR, I've always been considered as a person who is in a company just to kind of work on basic administrative stuff, whereas in today's evolving ecosystem, the role of a human resource professional is much more beyond that. We have to be agile, we have to be learned, we have to understand who is our best talent that is going to take our company to the next step forward. So, and in order to do so, we have to be kind of continuously educate ourselves, and thus kind of this program.
Fantastic. So what is coming out really shining in your conversation is your passion for people. And it's very evident that you are in the right positioning in your company to help people, grow. And so tell me one thing, how do you define leadership in this current era?
Um, it has been, and we given we have been attached to the industries for the last 10 years. I think this is the most dynamic time where one size doesn't fit all, and a leader is in the same space. It's the most toughest space to be in, where you now the new generation are kind of taking innovation, taking design, taking concepts to the next level. As a leader, it's very important to understand the larger ecosystem, understand how to have value add from people in your team and for them as well, to take your business, take your company to the next step. I think the most important aspect in leadership today is agility and continuous improvisation.
Awesome. I mean, the more I listen to you, the more I feel like I can listen to you for hours together, Abhishek. I mean, you're so passionate about people. You also spoke about why agility is important, why actually, helping people realize their true potential is important. So tell me, how do you feel that leaders in the current era should help their people grow?
It's the most important aspect, Nagesh. I think in today's dynamic world, gone are those days when people would just stick to loyal to a company or a team, and would serve them for years and years and help them build the next stage of story. But today the talent has evolved very much. Today leaders need to invest heavily into their people to help them not only create the future, but also kind of instill enough ownership in them to take accountability for what they're doing. And that's where I said, right, one size doesn't fit all. So a leader has to have a different strategy for each of the individuals, understand where they need help, understand where the leader can utilize their strength, uh, and just kind of build onto it. And it's a continuous process. There is no play and pause button on this. It's a continuous evolvement process. And I think those leaders today who are doing great is because of the people investment that they have done, which has helped them succeed in technology innovations,
Mm.
designs, patents, whatever, right? Everything is driven to people. So that is the biggest investment one leader can do.
Awesome. Toyota says that we don't build cars, we build people who build cars. And I see that the same notion is yours. Uh, but then with good also comes a lot of challenges. Um, with leaders nurturing people, investing in talent, there are also lots of opportunities for people to find jobs otherwise, jobs elsewhere. And there is a possibility that you might also see some good talent leaving your company. So while you are keeping investment in talent, how do you still retain them so that they do not leave you? What are some of the strategies you are recommending to leaders in order to retain the talent?
I have this very clear kind of messaging always when I speak to leaders around people retention and people strategy is crystal communication. It's the paramount importance that it holds while you're building your team and you're nurturing them for the future. And I think those leaders that do well in like the larger ecosystem are the ones who are in wherein their team members know that hey, this is how I'm going to grow.
Mm.
And everybody can have different career paths. After a certain point in time there is this notion that hey, only if I become a manager, if I become a manager, then is when kind of I'm considered growth, but which is not true. There are a lot of individuals who kind of want to remain an individual contributor and like
Yeah.
provide larger impact. I think it's the leaders kind of responsibility to figure out and transparently communicate on the next processes, the next
Mm.
steps. And that's what we call internal succession planning as well, right? A leader always believes in having backups for himself, herself, in the teams that exist under them.
Mm.
uh, and it could be even an individual contributor stepping up to fill in the leader's shoes. It could be like one of the most seasoned managers in their team. I
Yeah.
think the what holds importance is that when can who step up to take up that role. And that will only come when leaders communicate effectively with their team. They understand the value proposition each individual holds and translate that into actions of investing in these individuals over a course of time through different strategies, whether it's through learning, whether it's through motivation, whether it's through compensation,
Yeah.
anything. And for individuals, the only recommendation I do is like don't have a myopic kind of view on whether it's compensation, whether it's growth on titles. Titles and growth and everything, it's not relevant in today's world. All you have to see, are you growing as a professional, as an individual or not? And that's what takes you to the next steps forward in your career.
Awesome. That's fascinating, Abhishek. And leadership is all about being authentic, it is leading by example. And what I'm seeing nowadays is that leaders also want to learn. Gone are those days when leadership used to think that, hey, these trainings or these development plans are only for the team members. Now they realize that they need to be lifelong learners. So tell me something, why leaders need to continuously educate themselves?
It's a very interesting, thoughts, Nagesh, and I'm very kind of, I actually absolutely agree with you that leaders today have this constant need of developing themselves for the future, and I think the biggest reason for that is particularly after the startup ecosystem erupted, right?
Yeah.
Even the large scale companies now have bifurcated their business into small working startups,
Mm.
wherein they take care of P&L end to end, and then they have to manage the headcounts, they have to manage the opex, capex, everything. Now what that does is that puts those individual leaders on the spot with the most diverse talent this world has to offer now.
Yeah.
It could range from the world's top designers to software developers to kind of just your database operators to business analysts, business intelligence, artificial intelligence, data scientists. The world is so dynamic in this small ecosystems that you need to constantly unlearn a lot of things
Yeah.
and then add your learnings on top of it. And I think what has helped with the executive education programs like the likes of one that was offered at ISB is they are also evolving their education through case studies and kind of sampling data sizes which are now more relevant to the newer stages.
Mm.
So even the education system has evolved drastically over the last few years. We could, before COVID, we never imagined that we'll sit behind a system and just learn so much in a certain course of time. But learning management systems have enabled that.
Yeah.
Today the content flow is so seamless, thanks to a lot of this content creation tools, that learning is everywhere. So I think leaders are kind of just utilizing this opportunity to keep themselves upgraded so that they don't feel left behind with this next gen talent kind of developing themselves on all the skills that's available in the world.
Fantastic. Learning is not a second class citizen now, right? It is going to sit in the mainstream, and it's like, watching the movie right in the front row. Um, you want to see the bigger picture. I'm really fascinated by your thoughts and ideas, Abhishek. So if you could go back in time and change one thing as a leader, what would you change?
I think as leaders, everyone make mistakes, right? I think I became a leader very early in my career where I was managing a team and kind of, had to drive a lot of transactional stuff through that team. But only later I realized that, teams are not meant to do only transactional stuff for you.
Yes.
A lot of team members, because of their diverse thoughts, because of their diverse background, whether in education or the place they come from, have a different psychology on how they think on certain things. And that is the value add they can give to you from a in terms of different perspective when you put them in a strategic thought process.
Mm.
I think it's fundamentally very important as a leader, where I don't think I've done very well in the past, is under put my team members in a strategic thought process and try to gain, or try to build something out of it. I think that is definitely one of the things I've realized over the course of time that, I need to do for the future. And that's one of the focus areas that I have as well.
What you've done requires a lot of courage, becoming vulnerable in front of everyone. Uh, One of my mentors, John Mattone, says that the growth of the leader starts the moment the leader decides to become vulnerable. And he defines vulnerability is a sweet spot where fear and courage meet. And that is clearly demonstrated in your answer. Fantastic. I'm really excited, Abhishek. What is your advice to the leaders out there in the field who are leading teams?
Uh, I do have a lot of advice, but I think I'll just put it in like, three, four main pointers is leaders need to understand what is the larger problem statement that they're solving for. And as a firm believer, I think it's only people can help a leader solve their problems.
Mm,
Technology, artificial intelligence, all these things are the future, some say, but I think these are the things that are developed by people. Without people, there is no growth story for any leader. So
wow.
invest in your people, right? Understand the value that they bring to you, understand the value that you add to them. It's not a one-way street. It has to be a two-way street wherein you give some learnings to them and they give more learnings back to you. That's how you grow as a leader. I think those are my kind of key takeaways for any leaders in today's world. It's very fast moving. You have to, if you have to keep up at pace, just stick around with the right set of people. Just make them stick around with you, and I think leaders who do wonders.
Wow, these are stealers. I'm gonna steal all those things what you said in your last couple of words. I think what really strike my mind is people will help you solve your problems, right? It's not the process, it's not the tooling. You have to invest in people, and you have to trust that your people can actually do it. Fantastic. That's the core message coming out from you. I'm really excited that our audience are going to really love this and watch it again. How can people reach out to you if they have to, Abhishek?
I'm very easily accessible on LinkedIn. Just search for Raghavendra Abhishek Rao. That combination just sets my name right at the top of the list. I do also write some contents around leadership, around team management, around, things which mostly come through a lot of my learnings from my travel journeys. I'll just put down my email ID, which is rab_sheikh@yahoo.co.in, where also you can reach me directly through an email. Otherwise, for the new generations, I'm also available on Instagram, avid traveler. So my Insta handle is Gospels of Travels. Whatever you feel convenient, just feel free to ping me there, and I'll be happy to have a conversation.
Absolutely. And we are going to provide all these information in the footnotes, folks. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining us in our podcast. And we are really thrilled to air this soon. And we hope to see you again sometime in future. Thanks for coming.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nagesh, for having me here. I think it has been a fabulous journey that we have been together and just looking forward to learn each from each other a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.